This is Louis D. Fresh bringing it to you guys on a Thursday. What we're going to be talking about today in the ACT test, in terms of our college portion here, we spoke about the ACT in terms of what it is, part 1, part 2, how to prepare for the ACT, and now part 3, what to do on the actual ACT test day. Remember, refresher, that the SAT and the ACT are the two tests that the United States has in order to predict more or less how well you will do in college. Remember, the SAT is rated from 0 to 1600, and the ACT is rated from 1 to 36. And so roughly that is, those are the two tests in order to kind of get a glimpse of how well you will do in the college world. And so we spoke about the ACT on how to prepare for it, what it is, how to prepare for it. Number 1 was what it is. And now we're going to talk about what is to do on the actual test day. And again, we're going to use our Canvas slides, and we're only going to use Canvas slides in this particular portion. And I think it's kind of important. Let me show you. I think it's kind of important because, yes, I could, like I did in the beginning, honestly. In the first year and a half, I literally went to the website and I showed you the website and I gave you the details right from the website. But sometimes it's good to write down ideas, write down notes, I'm showing it on a Canvas slide because we're doing the video. But it's good to take notes because this way it becomes part of you. It's not just, well, I read it. Not only did you read it, you recorded it, and you took notes on it. So I think it's a good idea to take notes so it becomes a little bit more prevalent to you. So again, the ACT, the test day, and make sure you notice the right one, the right hand, that yes, the test is today. Make sure you know when the actual test day is so you don't mess that up. What do I bring on the ACT test day? Bring a copy of your admission ticket. Go to the ACT.org, ACT.org. Make sure you have a picture of yourself. Make sure that the picture is what they are requiring. Look at the ACT site. And that's why I put number 2, photo ID, in terms of your photo. Not only do you need that admission ticket, you need your photo. Based on the specifications of the ACT site. Today is May 5th. 2022. Pandemic is fairly much over, but you may want to stick a mask in your pocket just in case that particular site requires you to have a mask. So it's always good to have one in your pocket. Number 4, bring a number 2 pencil. Never assume you know what a number 2 pencil is. This is an example of a pencil you see here, right? I know you can't see it. Right after this portion of the pencil, right here, it'll say whether it's number 2, number 1, whatever it may be. It needs to be a number 2 pencil. Make sure that you bring with you also a watch so you're aware of what time it is. So you're not going, oh my God, what time is it? So it's good to have a watch with you. Number 6, also to have a calculator with you. And find out again, go to the ACT.org to find out what is acceptable. Do they want a simple calculator as such, or is a scientific calculator like that allowed? And you may also want to bring snacks for your break. Notice here I took a whole variety of snacks. Do not bring a whole variety of snacks. Bring a snack because you won't have that much time to chow down during the break. Even though, again, we went over this during the what is the ACT and our part 1 of the ACT, but now during this last, at least installment of the ACT, and again, we're going to refresh probably in the fall, ACT and SAT, probably combine them together, anything new, any details, any reminders. But in terms of this should be the last of the actual, hey, what is it? What do we do? What do we do on the actual test day? It is important that you do realize and remember, again, the flow, the ebb and flow of the test. You shouldn't be caught off guard. You should know that it flows exactly like this. English, math, reading, science, and a writing component if you choose to take it. So you shouldn't be surprised on what comes first, what comes second, third, fourth. You should not be surprised at the number of questions. In terms of English, as an example, 75, and the minutes per test, 45 minutes. You should not be surprised because when the proctor reads it or the administrator reads it, you should be, oh yeah, of course. It's because you've already prepared, you already know, and you'll be ready. Now, going back again to my Canvas slide, when you're going to the actual test center on the actual test day, dress comfortably, maybe in layers since it may be cold in your room. Now you may say, Louis D. Fresh, I know you live in South Florida. It's always cold in the rooms because of the air conditioning. It doesn't matter even if you live in Michigan or Minnesota or North Dakota. The room may be cold purposely because supposedly if you're cold, you're going to do better on these tests and not fall asleep. So it may be cold purposely. So make sure you're dressed in layers because you don't necessarily want to be caught in short sleeves such as this and then be like, oh my God, I'm so cold and I really can't take the test. Because if you're warm, you could always take something off. And during going to the test center, always arrive by 8, but check the ticket for the time because they're not going to let you in if you're going to be late. So make sure that you're on time and don't be like this cartoon guy here running because you're going to get there all tired and flustered. Get there with plenty of time to spare. Now, during the test, again, you are aware of the ebb and flow of the test in terms of what comes first, second, third, fourth. You're already there. When you're actually at the test, make sure you put the calculator underneath your desk and only take it out during the math portion or math portions of the test. Please do not be funny and say, hey, my calculator is resting on my desk. It should go under your desk and only be taken out during the math portion of your test. And again, do not engage in prohibited activities during the test. Refer to the ACT site, act.org. The obvious being here, like these two kids talking during a test. You may be joking around what you're going to do later, what you're going to have for lunch, what game you're going to play later. But really, really don't do it because these proctors are trained to look for these things. And if they see these things, they will ask you to leave the site. Now, it's important during the actual test day that you're aware that you will be afforded a break. And the break will be during the second test. Why is that important? Because this way your brain is aware, okay, I'm there, I took test 1, I took test 2, now I'm aware I'm going to take a break. So during the actual test day, after the second test, you will have a break, but you cannot use your cell phones. But remember that, don't use your cell phones, but you can eat or drink outside of the test room, such as this young lady here. But I want you to remember, as I showed you previously, you notice that's a pretty big bag, and I showed you a big bag of bags of treats and what have you. Be careful, don't eat too much because you may get tired after a big snack. You may be nervous. Your stomach may do some rumblings. You don't want to take too much of a drink because then you're going to have to go to the bathroom. Be careful. Know your body. And if you take medication for conditions you may have, make sure you take them. Don't assume that, hey, I'm going to take it during the test. Make sure you're well prepared, well eaten. Make sure you have a breakfast. But so that's why I'm saying with this snack portion, be really careful that you don't overdo it. And the thing here, we're taking a break. Also, if you're doing the writing portion, you will have another break to sharpen a pencil after everyone else has been dismissed and you are there for the writing component. And now that we're going to finish up the ACT. Now that you have prepared for it, you know what it is, you know what to do during the test, and now that you're almost at the end of the test, be aware that after the science test, which is the fourth test, remember the English, the math, the whatever it was, you're the one taking the test. The last one, the science test, you'll be giving a shorter multiple choice test on one of the previous topics you've already tested on. You may say, but why? It is really for research purposes in order to make the test better and more fair for future test takers. So please take it seriously. And as you finish, ACT with no writing, you should be done around 12:35. And ACT with writing, you should be done around 1:35. But those are rough estimates, and it all depends on what time the proctor gets rolling, how many people are in the room, how many tests need to be given out, questions that are asked. So those are rough estimates, but it's reason that I'm sharing that with you is that because you may not necessarily drive yet, and or you don't have a car. Make sure that whoever's picking you up, if you're getting picked up, that they are aware of what time to pick you up, because you won't be able to do it during the test. That's why I'm giving you those times. And if you do not want your test scored for whatever reason, tell the test administrator right there as you leave that you do not want your test scored. Literally, just like that. I do not want my test scored. Otherwise, it will be scored. And so therefore, you will lose your opportunity to do so. And that's all I got. That is the ACT. Again, you should be ready to rock and roll. You should take both SAT and ACT. I know people say, oh, the SAT is easier, the ACT is easier, this is da-da-da-da-da. Do both of them. The more options you have, the better it is. And again, this is May 5th. You guys should either, if you're a senior, take it again. You may be good for scholarships. If you're a junior, you're a sophomore, take it. Get your feet wet. Do these things. Prepare, because the more you prepare, the more things you do, the more things that you just do. Colleges will be impressed, and colleges will take note of these things, that you're not lazy, you're not sitting around, you're not doing the bare minimum, but you're doing the maximum. And that's really the key. And that's why I do these videos. And honestly, like I said, I don't make a heck of a lot of money. I probably lose money more than anything else. But I know that if you do the best, you do the most, good things happen. And that's my little message to you. This is Louis D. Fresh.